page. And go ahead and open it up in your browser from your local file, as well as in TextMate or brackets or whatever you're using. What we're going to do in this page this week is to play with the various properties, and we're going to use our type selectors. So those we're using as a selector. These guys are tags. And because this is something, you're not going to want to apply this to your whole site because you're going to be playing with this and you're just going to be changing stuff and seeing what happens. You want to do this internally. So we're going to go ahead and set our style inside our head. So you're going to go ahead and style, and for right now, I'm just going to do that in my style, and then make sure that we tell it that's CSS. And then later on, you're going to want to, once you've played with this and you've gotten a little bit more of a feel for what you're doing, you'll go ahead and you'll add an external style sheet to your index page. And then you can link to it using our linking. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead, we're going to go style, and we're going to tell it that this is CSS. So we're going to go ahead and go type equals, and then in quotation marks, text CSS. Great. So now we can go ahead and use our declarations. And so, yeah, I'm going to start with the beginning. I'm going to start at the top and I'll work my way down and try out some different things. And what you want to do is to play with the various type selectors we've got here. Ps, we've got block quotes, we've got anchors for links, we've got headers, we've got unordered lists, we've got ordered lists. And we've got DL, so we've got lots of different kinds of things. You can see how this works. You go down here, definition, and our definition list, and a term, and a definition itself. So you can try all of these just to see what they do. And the reason I want you to have this open up in terms of your local one is so that as we're going to make changes, you can then go ahead and refresh your page after you've saved, and you'll see the changes. So we're going to start with our body. What do we want to do? All right, I'm gonna add that guy in so then I can open it up. Well, let's change the background color. All right. What do we want? Let's try green. All right, let me just save that. Ugh. No, maybe not. Blue. Whoa, that's still gonna burn my eyes out. How about light blue? Okay, that's much better. I can actually see that. Now, if you're wondering about how I chose those terms and what colors and how to choose them, to you under our exercise resources, there's a bunch under CSS. So there's 2 on defining colors and picking colors in CSS. And now I'm about to start just changing some random properties to see how they work inside of my various headers. I want to let you know, I do not remember every single property that I can apply to every single thing in the variables, but I know where I can go to find the different ones, and I know some basics. And so part of this is just trial and error. Give it a try and see. And again, there's a CSS basics and CSS basic properties inside of your exercise resources. So have a look through there. And there's some simple text properties and list properties you can play with, as well as font properties. So let's just play with a few of those for our different headers and see what happens. So let's start with my H1. All right. So for that, let's see. Maybe for that one, I want it to be all caps, and let's see. All right, well, I'm going to start with the all caps. So that is text transform, which allows us to choose capitalize or lowercase, and then it will mean all of it is like that. So let me just start off with that. So text transform, oops, I accidentally hit the quotation marks at the same time. I don't need the quotation marks here. I want to capitalize. You know what? No, I want uppercase, all uppercase. Okay. This is a first level heading. Now, you notice I said, no, I don't want capitalize, I want uppercase. Let's see what capitalize is. What does that do? You can see that just makes every single first letter a capital. And so I realized as I was typing it, I wanted the other one around. But you know what? I'm actually much happier with capitalized than uppercase, because then that's like screaming, right? So that's not really what I'm looking for. But maybe I also want it underline. So underline is a text decoration. So text decoration. And that I want to be underline. Awesome. Let's save again. And then, oh, those are underlined. Awesome. That's what I'm looking for. Well, now what about H2? Okay, now H2, maybe I want that to be italic. That'll be text decoration, right? Well, that didn't seem to take. Well, weirdly, underlined is a text decoration, but italic is a font style. Some of these things make more sense than others. Just know that you kind of need to do the right one, otherwise it won't work. Now, what if I decided that I want it italic? Oh, I also want it scored through. I want a line through it. Well, that is a text decoration. It's called line through. So italic text line through. Awesome. Okay, now what if I also want it to not be so big? Actually, I want it to be the same size as my body text. Well, then what I can go ahead is I can change the font size and I can use M's, and M's are a relative unit of size. So let me just font size. 1M is the same as a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means that my font will be the same size as the body text is. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, refresh, and you see how now this is the same size. Now, because it's a header, it's going to be on another line anyways, but you'll see that it's the same size here. And I can then define things in terms of my body size. So this is 1.5 times my body text. Or maybe I want 1.25 instead, so I only want a little bit bigger. And you can see that that's about the same size as my third level heading kind of is by default. So now maybe I want to make my paragraphs. Maybe I want my paragraphs. Oh, I want those to have a different background color and text color. So I want those. Let's see if I can type. I want those to be pink. And I want the text color to be red. What does that do? Oh, how funky does that look? So you can go through and you can play with a number of these things and just keep playing. Just try things. Maybe you hate that. Maybe this would be great for, and you can see if you type things wrong. People with red-blue color blindness would hate that. And those look all like they're all links because we've been trained that just plain blue on text is a link. So if I made that color blue and I did text decoration underline, everyone would think that these are all links, but they're not. And so that's one of those things where we've been trained to associate certain things with meaning that we have different functions in our site. So just be really aware of what we associate as the default for these things. And have some fun. Try and play with some of this stuff and see what you can do. There's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of experimenting, seeing what happens. If something doesn't work the way that you think it works, so try to figure out why. Try to figure out how to get it to do what you want it to do. In the end, the biggest thing is getting it to do what you want it to do. If you do it in a funky or a different way, that's fine as long as you're still following major conventions and making sure that, you know, your site still works on all browsers. That's again why we will then validate our HTML and our CSS to make sure that if there are any errors, it's caught. So that if something works on my browser, I use Chrome, but if someone's using Firefox or someone's using Microsoft Edge, that they don't run into a problem. So as long as it works, that's the main thing. So have fun and play with your different selectors in here. I look forward to seeing what you guys do.